How's it going, Video Game Radio? And Abe. Happy juice drawing time. Galaxy Wolf Cookie. Some censored. Welcome to the stream, everyone. A wonderful morning to you all as well. We're going to get started here in about 5 minutes. Grab your coffee, grab your OJ. OJ meaning orange juice, not... yeah. G'day, Trek says. G'day, mate. Good morning, Zachary. Welcome to the stream. Good morning, Low Country. Sirocco says hello from Flint, Michigan. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Folks, I was at Target yesterday, doing some late night shopping. See, I took an evening nap and it lasted longer than I had expected. I guess I needed the rest. But there I am, 15 minutes to closing time, scrambling to get my groceries. And lo and behold, I see a cereal glowing on the shelf. That cereal was a Peeps cereal. I'm talking about the classic Peep candy put into cereal form. It was delicious. Folks, when people say we're living in the future, they don't mean AI, they don't mean VR, they don't mean AR. They mean Peeps cereal. Folks, welcome to VRadio, sponsored by Peeps cereal. By Peeps cereal. I'm kidding, but it's good. Folks, next up we got Midnight by Ginseng. Hope you all are having a fantastic Tuesday. Much appreciated for tuning in. Yo, you trying to tell me there's Sour Patch cereal? Are you kidding me, Zachary? Bruh. That's one of those things, like, I'm undecided on whether or not Sour Patch cereal would be good. I mean, the immediate thought is no, but I do not judge cereal by its cover. I judge it based on its merits alone. Hertz Harvey says, any advice on which VR set you should not buy just at all? You know, I would honestly skip the phone VR. That's just me. Like, I would much rather, spend a little more and get an Oculus Go. Yeah, that being said, the Oculus Quest is rumored to be actually announced next week. I think it might even be confirmed that they're announcing it. But very soon, folks, we will have a date, and I cannot wait. It's interesting. All the reviews I've read about it, like first impressions, it's like the majority of people say it's solid. Like the tracking is good, the display is good. So we'll see, folks. We'll see. And good morning, Namho. Welcome to VRadio. We got Neapolitan by Gustav coming up next. Well, John, I guess they never miss, huh? Ryan, good morning, man. Welcome to the stream. Low Country Exotic says, what is your opinion on the Oculus Go versus the Oculus Quest? You know, I'm not sure if there's a real debate there. I mean, the Oculus Go is sort of a 360 entertainment device, I'd say, like for watching virtual theaters, for loading up Netflix, maybe some short games. The Oculus Quest, on the other hand, I think it's going to be positioned more as a sort of gaming device, you know? I mean, room scale really changes the entire experience. So, I think they're going to be two different headsets, not necessarily competing. That was Neapolitan by Gustav. We got Nothing Changes. Everything is Different by H1. What's up, Shoe Showman? First timer. Welcome to the stream, man. Dr. Dark says, so what do we do? I don't know, man. That's up to you. It's your life. You're gonna have to figure that out yourself. Hey, glad to hear it, Super Duper. We try. Lavadon asks, what time is it for you right now? Well, I'm in virtual reality, so there's really no sense of time. It's the intergalactic, interplanetary wire time. Digital pixel. A clock. Folks, we got Depiction by Wenzel. Hey, Coconut. Coconut.
Yeah, what's up?
What's up, dude?
Hey, not much. Chilling.
Straight chilling?
Well, it could be curvy chilling. You don't know.
Oh, got that curvy chilling going.
Chilling, that's fine. Haven't had coffee.
Folks.
Folks.
Cabal Blue asks, what do you do in this show? Well, we play some music. We chat with chat. We chill, we share thoughts. We share ideas. So we need to talk about something, folks. Love, death, robots. Coconut, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Bruh.
it's so good.
So good. So good, man.
I recommended it to another friend of mine today.
Alright.
Like, I gotta check it out.
Alright. Folks in chat, have you seen Love, Death, and Robots? because I feel like it's one of those shows that just snuck up on me. I had heard about it. Okay. I watched the trailer. All right. I clicked the first episode. The animation alone, the art style alone is absolutely incredible. Not only that, is the writing on each episode. I mean, pretty good. I don't want to, you know, give it too much credit. I've only seen about 6 episodes, but straight up, each episode is very good.
Now, which episode was it you saw first? Because they are jumbled up for everybody.
Yeah, so apparently they're playing out of order, depending on the Netflix account. I don't know if it's the algorithm. You said something about the IMDb, but my first episode was it was sort of like a dystopian, like Gladiator type thing, where they're hooking into, yeah.
Okay.
Where they're hooking into these robots, but it's essentially, guys, it's like an anthology series, so like Black Mirror, but each episode is completely edited differently. Each episode is animated differently, directed by a different director. Highly recommend, folks. Highly recommend.
It's really hit or miss, but I guess they never miss, huh?
All right, we're going to go ahead and ban you, Coconut, for that one. Folks, we got Waking Up to Sleep. Do you need your coffee? I, for one, am one of those people that always need the coffee. All right.
I'm gonna go get coffee. So.
All right, enjoy. Don't forget, folks, we're going to be taking some calls here in Discord in a minute. Whether you have questions, you have thoughts, you have insults you want to throw at me, I can take it. Maverick MacArthur says, I'm currently in my art class right now doing a watercolor piece about my problems with escapism. What color do I paint the VR headset? Very good question. Lately, whenever I'm trying to depict a VR headset, I either do one of the opposites, so black or white, sort of the duality there, or adversely, I like painting it rainbow colored, because to me it sort of embodies all of the different moods and colors that different hues convey. Dan Mir asks, can you play Beat Saber on the Vive Focus? Unfortunately, you cannot. Late Night Snack. You're live on air. How are you, buddy?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can, or come through loud and clear.
Alright. Sorry about that. I was wondering, so I'm in high school, I'm in 9th grade, and I don't have the money to buy a headset right now. And I've actually really never put on a headset before. That's why I like to watch your videos. You really kind of get me trapped in like what it kind of feels like. But I don't know which one to buy because honestly, I don't have a job and I don't get much money to do things.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, like, should I wait for the Quest and save up the extra, or just go for the Go?
So, I would, if I was in your position, I would probably wait for the Quest, just because it seems like it will potentially be the best bang for the buck, right?
Right.
Self-contained, you don't need to get a PC. You'll be able to kind of jump on like multiplayer games. I think a lot of developers are going to be pushing for the Quest. We're all kind of hoping it's going to be the Game Boy moment for the industry, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was also wondering, what is it like being in a headset? I've never really been in one. I know this is kind of like weird saying that on like a channel that just does VR, and like I know a lot of y'all
That's a
have
great
them.
question.
But,
Yeah, man. The way I would try to describe it is like, you know, when you're reading a book and you can
Yeah.
picture in your head what's going on, and
Mhm.
it's like you have that POV of it.
Right, or like watching a movie and you don't like see anything else, I guess.
Yeah, but it's almost like that where you're imagining it, but you control your view. Like in a movie, it's like a window. The director is controlling it, but in VR, it's like a video game 2.0 where you're not looking at it through a window, but you're actually standing there, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
thanks so much.
yeah, no sweat, man. Thanks for calling in.
Mhm.
And I can add in a little bit as well, on what it's like to look through it.
Yeah.
It's like you're aware of like the surroundings until you get immersed into it fully. Like you're aware that you're wearing a headset and the black void around your vision. But then once you're immersed, it all goes away and you're inside the experience.
Yeah, it's almost like having to be aware of like suspending your disbelief and then being fully immersed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Folks, we're going to be taking your calls here over the next 40 minutes, but first up we got Vibes by This Is Tomorrow. Denmir asks, how long did it take to get your VR legs? About a week. Ash Softpaws. Ash Softpaws, you're live on air. How are you?
Alright, how about yourself?
Doing alright, man. How's your Tuesday going?
Tiring. I have an issue now where even if I disable my alarms, I still wake up at 4 in the morning. And I don't have to wake up till 6. And my coffee's gone cold.
Oh, man.
Can't get any more.
That's a tough life.
I'm
Mm.
sadly getting used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I've gotten my endurance where I can actually run for more than 4.5 seconds.
Oh, sick, dude.
I blame Beat Saber.
Yeah, man. Perhaps in the future, athletes will be trained via Beat Saber.
I mean, it requires their arms.
Marine
Their arms.
Marine training has nothing on Beat Saber. No, I'm kidding. That's cool though, man. There's no better feeling than running, I feel like.
Yeah, I only normally run to the bus stop because I'm always late. Even though, like I said, I wake up way too early.
That's how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you ever do the anime running where you like you put your arms behind you and then run head for it?
When I was a little younger, I did.
Yeah. Makes you go faster, actually. It's scientifically proven.
It actually depends on your form. It does make you go faster if you're confident on it.
Exactly.
I'm too lazy to keep any type of form. I just...
You just go for it. Well, hey, man. I hope your coffee gets reheated and your bus stop.
I just wish it was a little bit later.
Thanks for calling in, man.
Alright. I don't know what to say. Half awake still. See ya.
We're all half awake. We got Interstellar by your bar. I think perhaps the holy trinity of power moves is on the top, the Naruto run. Next comes the T-pose. And third comes the Slav squat. That was Interstellar by Arbar and DRKMND. Azuli, you're live on air. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually kind of wondering two things. One is real quick.
Yeah.
What is your personal VR desktop software? Because I've seen a couple of them on Steam and such.
Yeah, so I used to use big screen. I like using that if I'm sort of in a room with like other people, but I find myself when I'm actually like working, right, like in the zone, virtual desktop. It uses less CPU. It almost feels just like a Windows add-on. So
Okay.
yeah.
Sweet. All right, and then the other one, maybe not as quick. The first time I tried VR was on a phone setup. It kind of like it was on my own phone, and at the time I didn't have a great phone, so it kind of gave me a headache, and I couldn't really focus on anything.
Oof.
The second time I tried it was at a convention, and you were kind of given like 15 to 30 seconds or so to just kind of like put it on and adjust your eyes or something, and they were playing some anime dance video something, and there was a bunch of confetti, so I didn't get a chance to focus on that either. And I sort of just jumped into getting a Vive wholesale one day without really having a proper experience. So I guess if I wasn't as embracive of technology as I am, I know I would have been incredibly disheartened. And I know a lot of people who have tried VR once, they had a bad experience in the first minute or so, and then they didn't want to try it ever again. What would you recommend to try to convince people to give it another shot if it's been a couple of years or so, and if they have a chance to try it in kind of an isolated thing where they can adjust to it?
Yeah. So I feel like inherently, just by the nature of the technology, like as the hardware improves, it will get easier for people to onboard, even if they've had a bad experience before. That being said, one of the best experiences, I think, is the blue, sort of the underwater um, experience where you're in the water and sort of flowing through coral reefs, because it's such an otherworldly experience that is centered in our world, but few people will get to see, like the actual coral reef. So there's something about having like that familiarity of our nature, but experiencing it in VR that I always like demoing to people at first. Beat Saber as well is another good one. It sort of is an immediate recognition. It's like, oh, I have lightsabers. I hit the blocks. Good to go.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, man.
All right, well,
Okay.
thank you very much.
I can
Great
also add
questions.
something to that. I had lots of nausea in the Gear VR, the phone VR system, because when you're moving your head around, it doesn't move your head; it just rotates it, since it's 2 degrees of tracking instead. So that's something. But I don't experience any nausea in a PC setup. And also, have them make sure they adjust their IPD correctly if the headset allows for it, because having your IPD set incorrectly causes massive headaches for lots of people.
Okay, cool. Very good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Great questions. Thanks for calling in.
Mhm.
Folks, we got Evenings by Idealism. Taking your calls throughout the next 30 minutes. Thanks for tuning in. Pure Ostension says, I get motion sick anyway. Yeah, it's interesting. I've noticed definitely some people get motion sick more than others. Perhaps it kind of does with the idea of, what's it called? Sort of getting more sick on prone to sickness on boats and cars. Some people that, can barely look out the window when driving on a car and get motion sick. So, but again, it also, I feel like, depends on the VR experience itself. Like, I mean, I like to think of myself as a pretty seasoned VR guy, and there are definitely some experiences where I have to take a break. It's hit or miss. I guess they know. All right.
Hey, you just said you were going to ban me for that.
All right. The real Zing Man, a regular. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for joining.
Good morning, man. Good morning, Coconut Sales, and good morning, the rest of the stream.
Good to see you.
Thank you. I have 2 questions for you this morning. So question number 1, it's about VR. When you had the theater experience, and you got to literally in VR go into a theater and watch movies with other people.
Mm-hmm.
How close was that to like actually going to a movie theater?
So in terms of like, that moment when you're watching a movie in a movie theater and you forget about everything else, you're just immersed in the movie.
Right, yeah.
That happened a lot easier, I found, in a VR theater than it does like when I'm watching it on like my monitor or even my regular TV.
Right.
But there is still that like social kind of thing that I missed, at least in the Netflix app, where you're literally just in like a void watching a giant screen, whereas big screen on the computer VR, you can actually join theaters with other people and get that full experience. So,
all right, that's pretty cool. And the other question, okay, yeah. So this is a really nice stream setup. I was wondering what you had on your on the TV and the music you were playing. Is it all royalty free or?
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. So on the TV, I'm in an app called Big Screen, which basically lets me have virtual monitors and switch the camera around. And the music, the YouTube police, we're under the radar right now. Most of this, though, is by sort of smaller artists. So I figure, if we give credit, I'm not putting any ads on the stream, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool stuff, man.
We'll see if YouTube demonetizes us.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling in, man. Good chatting, as always.
Yep.
Interesting question I see in chat by Michael Jurgens. He says, there's a difference between understanding the world objectively, or at least trying to, and experiencing it through an exclusively objective framework. If I'm understanding correctly, that's sort of the difference between going through the world, going through personal experience without any sort of belief system, belief structure, adversely going through the world with a belief system that deems no belief system correct. You'll have to clear that up for me, man. But it's an interesting question. Folks, we got Waiting for You by Mello here on VRadio. Yikes.net, you're live on air. How's it going, man? And in new Mike, unoriginal, you're live on air. How's it going? And no Mike, my friends. Welcome, my friends, to BBC Radio Hour, where we are taking calls here in Discord. Unfortunately, it looks like most people do not have a microphone. That one guy, you are live on air. How are you, my friend?
What's going on, dude?
How's it going, my friend?
It's going good, man. Tuning into your podcast a little bit late today.
Hey, well, appreciate you tuning in.
Oh, yeah. It'll be a daily thing, yeah.
All right. You're becoming a regular.
At least.
Tardiness is punishable by death.
How's your Tuesday going?
It's going good, man. We're working, chilling out.
Where are you working?
I got this small place called Bullseye Holsters. Making some holsters.
Ah, right on. Keeping the world safe via...
Trying to, at least.
Yeah, no. I feel you, man.
Hear that, man?
What kind of tool are you using?
Got me a drill, got me a heat gun, got me an oven. That's all I need, baby.
Hell yeah. Well, hey, man. Appreciate you calling in.
I appreciate you taking it, man.
Yeah, man.
Keep doing what you're doing.
You too. We got Man in the Moon by Smoke Trees. Dr. Dark, I'm your biggest fan. You're not my biggest fan, I am. Michael Jurgen says, everything you know, everything you've touched, seen, and smelled has been filtered through any number of physiological and cognitive processes. So that's a really interesting sort of realization. Because I feel like almost the Tibetan monks were trying to grasp that concept, the intrinsic moment, the intrinsic reality that when one is aware of, that is in essence, waking up. But I'm interested to hear what you think about that, Michael. We got Mosaic Skit, my psalm trees. Thanks for joining, guys. Talk to you later, Smew. Thanks for joining. Bill the Second, of course I've subscribed to PewDiePie. Come on. What are you talking about? Hey, Dozy. You're live on air. How are you, buddy?
Hey, it's me again.
Welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me on the stream again for like the third time.
Oh, absolutely, man. How's the
Also,
typhoon preparation going?
it's basically over.
Right on.
If you look at community sharing, I sent a photo. Hold on, I'm still sending. There.
Oh, yeah.
That's how pretty bad it is.
Let's see if I can pull that up.
There. Sorry that it's just a couple mud at times stuff.
Oh, don't worry about it, man. So that is the typhoon. The storm. Interesting. Did you guys experience much flooding?
Not that much, since we're in the lower part of the country.
Okay.
Or like the middle part and the upper part of it.
Okay.
Also, like, will you continue the Flow podcast? I really love that one.
Yeah, man. I think I kind of like the idea of VRadio being early morning, and the Flow perhaps we'll do late at night. I don't know if I want to do the Flow every day, but I do want to bring it back, man.
Well, it's kind of the reverse for me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like 9 p.m. VRadio, and then 9 a.m. the Flow.
We're all switched
Kinda
around.
that.
That's funny.
Yeah. Time zones.
Yeah. But hey, we'll see, man. Maybe I'll bring it back in a couple weeks. We'll see.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the stream again.
Oh, absolutely, man. Talk to you later.
Yeah, talk to you later soon.
Whew. Typhoons, flows, folks. We're talking about it all today. We got Beginnings by Nomadic. Thanks for tuning in. Folks, what are your plans for this week? I, for one, am writing a new video. I've been deep into Sword Art Online recently, so I think I kind of want to do a research piece on the sort of technological limitations of the current cyberspace sphere that we find ourselves in. You know, what are the technical limitations of, say, deep dive VR when one is experiencing frequent colloquial terms, whether it be the technological advancements or the cybernetic connections that come up. And folks, truly, when discussing the potentialities of deep dive VR, one has one question. Ellen Blank Page, you are live on air.
Oh, crap. Hey.
What's up?
How's it going?
Oh my god, it's Ellen
I
Page.
just had a couple of questions, actually.
I have a question for you first. Are you the real Ellen Page?
I am, in fact, the real
Oh my
Ellen
gosh,
Page.
I loved you in that one movie.
Hunger Games.
That one movie was, yeah.
Fantastic.
No, it was fun to shoot, actually.
Yeah, he did great.
Thanks. My question is, what's the most immersive VR experience you've ever had?
Very good question. So, it's interesting. The first time I tried the Vive, they have this demo where you're sort of being introduced to the virtual world by these two robots. I'm sure people that have the Vive can attest to this, but you're placed in a giant sort of warehouse, right? And the moment I put on the headset and realized that the sense of scale is real, like I felt like I was standing in a warehouse. The immediate recognition of that was the most immersive experience I'd had. And there are a few that top that, like Skyrim. There's another one called Air Car, where you're sort of flying a spaceship around a futuristic city. But that initial sort of brain realizing that we have reached virtual reality, that was extremely immersive.
There's just a whole nother world just right at your fingertips.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I actually haven't bought a VR headset yet.
All right on. Then you got a lot to look forward to.
I really do. If what you're saying is true.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Good to be on. Thanks for taking my call.
Oh, great question. Have a good day, man.
Yeah, you too.
Immersive worlds. He said it very well. Worlds at our fingertips. It'll bring great advancements, and it'll bring consequences that we cannot predict, but that's just how it goes with new technology. We'll see. Slinger Marshall says, where do you find these beats? Right now we're playing through the Lush Lo-Fi Spotify playlist. It's been on repeat here in my Spotify lineup for a couple weeks. Really dig it. But folks, thanks for tuning in to VRadio. We're going to be taking some more calls here in Discord. In a couple minutes, I'm going to go reheat my coffee. But in the meantime, we got Bedroom by Smeal. Dr. Rushil, you are live on air. And bada bing, no mic. Hey, oh. Hey, Hoostopia, you are live on air. How are you?
What's poppin', B?
Not much, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I got a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
So, right now, I'm active duty in the military.
Thank you for your service.
And I use a VR headset to, just when I come home from the bar or something like that, getting drunk, chill in VR.
Nice.
But what I've found is a lot of other military using it too.
Really?
Like, I'm talking just playing VR chat, being the drunk idiot I am. I've run into, like 20 other people, just my branch alone.
Wow.
But I've
pretty
met
crazy.
people from I'm wondering what your thoughts on like the implications of that are. Like, people's like kind of secluded all around the world, not just from like other people, but also like friends and family. How do you think VR will help that in the future?
So it's interesting. I feel like there's sort of a inherent divide that VR can cause. On one hand, it can cause someone to maybe drift away from their family, drift away from their friends, and just immerse fully in, an addictive video game. But on the other hand, it's a technology that allows us to connect on a level that we've never seen before. I mean, I'm sure you can attest, like meeting people on VR chat is an amazing experience at times. At times it's a crazy experience, but so it's interesting. I think it'll definitely be up to the individual to really, be responsible with it or, be irresponsible with it.
Alrighty, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for your service. Military and VR. It's interesting. I remember I was going around VR chat. I think it's in one of the videos we released a couple weeks ago. But I was talking to a military guy, and it's always interesting to hear someone's experiences that are so different from your own, but to be standing with them in your living room in completely different areas. And I'd had that experience like in online gaming, like World of Warcraft guilds. I'd have friends that were, overseas, but it's interesting. Really interesting. Pascal. Oh, jumped out. Kyle Moran, 1999. You're live on air. How's it going, man?
It's going good. It's early in the morning here in Tampa, Florida. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right, man. You're in the basement of the U.S., Florida.
I know. It's a little bit rainy here, and I'm just waiting for my classes to start.
Hey, right
so
on.
I have two questions. I just recently discovered your channel today, and you're doing great work, just to say.
Oh, thank you.
What really inspired you to do VR-related content?
So, at first it was just having an interest in VR, right? And then I kind of found this this gap where myself and many others in the industry sort of had an awareness like, okay, this technology is going to change everything. But then there's this gap where it's like, okay, how then do we tell people that it's going to change everything? How do we get the average Joe on the street to maybe be aware of VR? So it's almost like taking on that challenge and like trying to figure it out. It's kind of fun to me.
Okay, so it's kind of like trying to figure out what to do with this type of technology, whether to help people, whether to stimulate people.
Yeah, almost like just like a research into it, like how will it help us? How will it maybe not help us? Like what are the negatives? What are the positives? Trying to translate all this information and try to make it entertaining.
Okay, that's good. And my second question is, have you heard of the channel called Up Is Not Jump? He is a kind of a comedic VR type of gamer. He does a lot of stuff with Fallout and Skyrim, and I was wondering if you'd be interested in a collab with him.
Up is not jump. I have not heard of him, but I'm writing it down in the show notes. I'm gonna check that out.
That'd be pretty awesome. The guy who spends a week in VR does something with, this comedian, maybe a duo kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. UP is not jump.
Up is not jump.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out, man. Thanks for the
All right.
suggestion.
Thank you for taking me in the call.
Oh, absolutely, man. Have a great day.
You as well.
Folks, we got Double at 11 p.m. by Jinsku. Remember, you can join the link below to call. Thanks for tuning in to VRadio. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Maverick. Catch you on the flip flop. Hey, Doubles the Destroyer. You're live on air. How are you?
Oh, hi.
What's going on?
Nothing much. Just kind of woke up a little bit ago. It's kind of cold in my house.
Oof. I feel you, man. You got any plans for this Tuesday? Or you're chilling?
Well, I'm currently going to a kind of program, so yeah,
Oh,
kind
right
of
on.
new.
Well, cool.
Sorry, I don't really know what to talk about. I'm new here. I just found your channel.
Oh, no, man. I don't know what to talk about either. We just throw our thoughts into the microphone.
What's your experiences and thoughts on VR? How about that?
Well, I'm actually very excited to try it because there's actually a shop in my little town that is like they let you play in it for like an hour or something, and you I don't know. I think it's interesting. I might go.
Oh, nice. Like a VR arcade, almost?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. It's cool to see, like our generation, we always see, like, the 80s, like, retro arcades, right? And it always looks so fun. But now I feel like with VR arcades popping up, we almost get to experience that again for a couple years.
I kind of feel like since VR is kind of growing vastly and fast, maybe they could actually input some of the old arcades into.
Oh, that'd be sick. Like playing Pac-Man in VR.
There's actually, you can do that with New Retro Arcade. It's on Steam. You can load emulators into virtual arcade machines.
Ah. Oh yeah, that's the one where it's like a nostalgic sort of like living room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to try that.
Oh no. No, it's like an old nostalgic arcade, actually.
Oh,
like
really?
A bunch of arcade machines.
Oh, there's another one I've seen where it's like it's sort of in like a like a 90s like kids room and you're like sitting on the floor with like a N64 emulator.
Yeah, that's MUVR.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This is New Retro Arcade.
New Retro Arcade. All right. Well, hey, Bubbles, thanks for calling in, man. Hope you have a great Tuesday.
Yeah, thanks for having.
Peace out. Chope F, it's fine. This is one of my favorite lo-fi tracks. Cynical Taco says, I studied philosophy from ancient to Greek to religion to Western to modern. Question for you, what is your favorite sort of philosopher, or one that you most align with, just out of interest? It's Fine by Chopeth. Hey, Dr. Dark, you are live on air. How are you, man?
I'm pretty good, thanks. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right, man. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I just, I don't really have a question, but more of a just wanting to talk to you, because I'm a pretty big fan. I watched some of the, your first Minecraft videos.
Oh,
Or
shit.
do we not talk about that?
Thanks, man. You're,
You got an OG.
you're uncovering the lore.
Yeah. Anyway, before we before I expose you as a Minecraft YouTuber, anyways, yeah, I was just wondering how the weather is in. Are you in the States at the moment?
I am in the States, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
'Cause
weather.
it's god awful here in Australia.
Really? I would
Yeah.
expect. I thought it was just 24/7 sun in Australia.
It's rain, then sun, and then humidity follows, so that's fun. Yeah.
Is it true it rains spiders and snakes down there?
Yeah, I've heard.
Um,
I've heard that's true.
Basically, because the spiders come out of the trees when it rains.
Don't tell me that.
Oh god, no. Do the kangaroos stomp on them though? Do they protect them?
No, kangaroos don't really care about spiders.
Oh. Did you ever
Yeah,
see
but they
that?
do care about humans.
Yeah. Did you ever see that video of that that kangaroo that grabbed the guy's dog and then the guy just runs up and?
Oh yeah.
That was a great video.
Yeah, there's a few incidents where I've actually, a kangaroo comes jumping at you and you need to run into the car. So
Oh snap!
that's something you never have in the States. Anyways, yeah. So I was also interested in VR. What's the how would it help me mentally? Because I've got a few mental problems. Is there any how's the meditation courses?
Yeah, man. I think getting into meditation via VR inherently makes it a lot easier. It's almost like an easier entry point into it. So, yeah, I would highly recommend it for meditation. You can load up sort of experiences that are create like binaural beats, so it sort of calms the mind, and as well as paired with the visuals. And then there's also sort of like guided voice meditation. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And would there be anything else you would suggest for VR that would help with any mental issues? Because personally, I got depression and anxiety. But so, is there anything that would relax the mind?
Yeah, I like jumping into like nature experiences, even like 360 videos of like. There's one where you're sort of like in a savanna with like elephants and sort of just chilling there. I always like jumping in those to kind of relax.
Yeah, and about the VR, what's the best VR I can get for my money?
For your money,
Right. Pimax?
Are you talking about for budget or if money is not an issue?
Well, I guess just whatever is worth it the most, I guess. So, if it's a $2,000 headset, is it worth $2,000?
I think for the money, the Oculus Rift, I would say it's like $350. If you have a good PC, you can just sort of, unpack it from the box, plug it in, you're good to go.
Yeah.
I've been using the Oculus a lot more lately, which, I've been digging it.
And another question is, what's the difference between the Oculus and the Vive? Because I don't see on many videos on the internet that they explain that.
Yeah, so the Vive has better tracking. The tracking sensors are like wireless, so you can basically put them in a much bigger area, whereas the Oculus sensors are sort of plugged in. Their wires are pretty short, so what I always go by is just like the Vive is better for like large room scale stuff. The Oculus is a little better for like standing and kind of like desk VR.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Oh,
That's
absolutely, man.
it. And I just want to say thanks to everyone in the chat. They're all so nice and lovely. I haven't seen any hate in the chat, and it's YouTube, so
Right?
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for calling in.
I know it's 12 a.m. in Australia. I'm too tired to think of anything that makes sense.
No, man. Great conversation.
I need to go to school tomorrow anyways. I'll catch you later. Thank you so much, man.
All right, peace, man. Great call, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I wish we could get to every call. I wish I could just sit here for hours and talk to you all, but hey, that's why we do it every day. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I will see you here tomorrow, same time, same place, at the Virtual Reality Wire. Hope you all have a great time this Tuesday. Peace out.
Peace.
Others' opinions, others' words only impact you when you believe them.